Shalom, shalom, mishpocha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. I'm your host, Rabbi Yehuda ben Shomer. So I beg the question today, so why the Torah? I have many Christians and even Messianic believers coming to me and saying, Rabbi, why should I keep the Torah? I'm a Gentile. Isn't the Torah just for the Jews? I don't have to keep Torah. That's why Yeshua came. Jesus came and nailed the Torah to the cross. Okay, first of all, the scriptures tell us that God is a God that cannot lie. That God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, that God changes not, and He cannot lie or be manipulated. So, those three main things is but one reason why the Torah stands and is firm, and it exists, and it is applicable and obligatory to every believer in the God of Israel. Second of all, if you read through the Torah over and over and over and over, God tells Moshe that this Torah is for you and for the sojourner living among you. So in other words, it's not just for those of the 12 tribes of Israel, the Hebrews, the Jews, but it is also for the Goy, for the Goyim, for the stranger, for the sojourner, for the Gentile that is living among Israel. Also, thirdly, when the Torah was given to Israel at Mount Sinai by God through the hand of Moshe, basically God laid out, this is the Torah, this is what I expect from you. Will you accept this Torah? And Israel said, I do. Now who was also at Mount Sinai with Israel when God gave the Torah? The mixed multitude. The mixed multitude that came out of Egypt was standing there with Israel when the Torah was given. And so Israel accepted the Torah, and also the mixed multitude accepted the Torah upon themselves, as Israel did at Mount Sinai. Now, the mixed multitude was made up of at least one representative of all the 70 nations that were in existence at that time, because Egypt was a metropolitan, it was a major trade center, and so you had people there from all over. And so when Israel left Egypt, a lot of these Gentiles saw the mighty work of Yud-He-Vav-He Elohim, and they said, I'm going to get out while the getting's good and follow this God, because He's the only God that has proven Himself to be such. And so they went out with Israel. And when the Torah was given at Mount Sinai, Israel, all the 12 tribes, accepted the Torah, and because they accepted the Torah, everyone who is descended from them, they accepted the Torah on their behalf. Though I'm Jewish, I physically wasn't there at Mount Sinai, but my DNA was. My ancestors were. And same with the Gentiles. You were not there at Mount Sinai, but yet your DNA was there. And the mixed multitude of all the 70 nations that were there accepted the Torah upon themselves, just as Israel accepted the Torah upon themselves. And so therefore they accepted Torah on your behalf. And so these are some major reasons why the Torah is still valid for today. Now, Torah, people say that Torah means law, and it does have a connotation of an aspect that it does mean law. But the literal translation is instructions. So I hear Christians say all the time, well, the law's been done away with. That's what grace is all about. That's what Jesus is for. Well, people say that the law's been done away with, but if you say, has God's instructions been done away with? They'll say, oh no. You're talking about the same thing here. God's Torah, God's law, God's instructions, they're all one and the same. He did not, in Matthew chapter 5, Yeshua said, I did not come to do away with the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to abolish or to do away with, but to fulfill. And people say, well, yeah, He came to fill it up, so we don't have to fill it no more. He kept the law on our behalf. No, that's not what the Greek, the Hebrew, and the Aramaic says. It says He came to bring the Torah into its full and complete meaning. In other words, He actually made the Torah harder for some of us to follow. Because, see, the Pharisees of the day were just so focused on the outward appearance of keeping the Torah. Sure, I don't sleep around. I don't jump in bed with other women that are not, that's not my wife. Sure, thou shalt not commit adultery. Very easy commandment to keep. But Yeshua said, if you even look on a woman to lust after her in your heart, you've committed adultery. And so, Yeshua basically said the Torah is first kept inwardly and it's manifested outwardly. And so He actually made the Torah harder for some of us to follow. So he said, I did not come to do away with the Torah, but to bring it into its full and complete meaning. So the Torah is for everyone. It's God's handbook. It's God's instructions. There are 613 commandments in the Torah. And so what is 6 plus 1 plus 3? It equals 10. So the 10 commandments are not an exhaustive list of commandments that we are to follow, but it summarizes the main crux of the 613 commandments. So if you're keeping the 10 commandments, most likely you'll automatically keep the 613. So you have the 10 commandments. What's 1 plus 0? 1. What's the greatest commandment? To love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And Yeshua said the second greatest commandment is just as equal unto the first, and that is to love your neighbor as yourself. If you keep the greatest commandment, you'll by default most likely keep the 10. If you keep the 10, you'll most likely keep the 613. People say, well, 613 commandments, oh my goodness. Well, you know what? There's thousands and thousands of laws that you keep all the time, every day, that you don't even flinch or think twice about. If you live in the United States or Canada or the Western world, you follow laws every day that you don't blink twice at. You don't worry about breaking these laws. It's second nature to you. And these laws change on a yearly basis. And there's thousands of thousands upon laws. So what's the big deal about 613? Not only that, but not all 613 commandments apply to one person. Some apply only to men. Some apply only to women. Some apply only to Levitical priests. Some only apply to the kings of Israel. Some only apply to farmers that are living in the land of Israel. So not all 613 apply to one person. Some we cannot fulfill today because we don't live in Israel, we're in exile, and because the temple's not standing and there's not a working priesthood. So some of these commandments have actually been suspended or put on hold until the temple's rebuilt. So what's such the big deal about it? I just don't get it. I don't see what the uproar is. Well, yeah, it says that Jesus nailed the law to the cross. No, it doesn't. He said he nailed the penalty of the law of the cross. What's the penalty of the law? The law is death. The penalty of the law is death. He nailed the penalty to the cross. He didn't nail the law to the cross. That's ridiculous. Yeshua said, if you love me, you keep my commandments. And John 17 says that Yeshua and Elohim, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, God, the God of Israel, are one. They're echad. They're one in plurality. So it's, when did you ever hear of a son coming and asserting the authority of the Father and say, all those rules and laws that my Father made, forget about them. This is a new ball game. I'm the big cheese now. No, Yeshua said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. What commandments was he talking about? He was talking about nothing but the Torah, the 613 commandments of the Torah. That's what it's all about, folks. So if you love Yeshua, you love Mashiach, you're going to keep the commandments, period. That's just the way it is. He did not come to, just as Matthew 5 says, he didn't come to do away with the Torah. He came to bring it into its full and complete meaning. He lived it out in front of us so that we can walk in his footsteps and walk according to his ways, according to his halakha, and follow the mitzvot, the commandments, as he taught us to. He showed us how to live out the Torah correctly and not to be hypocritical about it. So I had a viewer ask me to do a video on this. I know this isn't. This is very simplistic, very, very basic, and it's not exhaustive by any stretch of the imagination. But these foundational, main, hardcore principles are the foundation that which we build upon regarding the Torah. So you want to know the main reasons. You want to know just very simply why it's obligatory for believers in Yeshua Messiah to keep the Torah, whether they be Jew, whether they be Gentile, whether they be Christian or what have you. This is it. I just explained it. I just laid it out for you. Possibly there'll be more videos to come in this series, but this is the first one to kick it off. So thanks for watching. Shalom and Shavua Tov.